They are now in charge, in case you weren't sure. Some of their words may have been intended to reassure, but their Taliban stagecraft is still old school. This was a security detail of one Taliban commander on his casual stroll through Kabul today.
The market's very crowded. People are very happy. A large number of people and residents of Kabul are not afraid of us anymore. Thank God.
But are they? The guns, by the way, look like brand new American issue, seized from the Afghan army that barely put up a fight. Just like this Humvee taken for a joyride on the edge of the airport. But there is nothing joyous about these rides, the one-way journeys away from home into exile, from an airport that has become a fortress and a departure lounge of Western credibility. This was today one of several British flights out of the country, and these may well have been their last steps on home soil, forever. Every passenger here, including the girl in her best pink, is a reminder of the West's failure to secure its 20-year investment of blood and treasure. Desperate Afghans are no longer clinging to planes for escape, but they are thronging the airport gates in the hope of a getaway. This was yesterday. Complete mayhem. American soldiers using tear gas for crowd control. Other Afghans are determined to stay put. Some even brave enough to show their defiance to the Taliban with the flag of the outgoing Afghan state, on what happens to be Independence Day from British colonial rule, that is. A reminder that Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires, is now also the shallow grave of America's attempt at nation building. And yet, 2 decades of secular rule have left a legacy.
Until the Taliban accepts that today's Afghanistan is different to Afghanistan 20 years ago and convince us that they have changed and that they will not go back to their same system, the Taliban should come and kneel before us. We will never kneel before them.
Minutes later, the response from the Taliban. Shots fired, apparently over their heads, but still puncturing the new regime's reassurances. These images of defiance have yet to impress Washington, where they've been loading all the blame on the outgoing Afghan government. But what a difference a month makes. This was President Biden in July, when asked if Kabul 2021 could ever turn into Saigon 1975.
Do you see any parallels between this withdrawal and what happened in Vietnam, with some people feeling...
None whatsoever. Zero.
The reality of the last week would suggest the opposite. And yet here he was last night, unrepentant, unflinching.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
Washington now claims the situation at the airport is under control. But these images from today tell a very different story, one that America will soon want to forget.
Matt Fry reporting. Now, after years of allegations of funding and supporting the Taliban, Pakistan is now being seen as a key player in its future. Earlier, I spoke to Hina Rabbani Khan, who is a former foreign minister of Pakistan. I asked her, what role is Pakistan playing in the region now?
I'm sort of comforted by the fact that today in Islamabad is the Northern Alliance, what was considered to be the Northern Alliance leadership, Mr. Mohaqiq, Mr. Wali Masood, Ahmad Wali Masood, the brother of Ahmad Shah Masood, and many other Northern Alliance leaders. I am comforted by the fact that Pakistan is in touch with President Karzai, Abdullah. I'm comforted with the fact that Pakistan is also obviously in touch with pretty much all the, I'm sure, many different, and I cannot answer that question correctly because I'm not in government, so I don't know which Taliban leader specifically, but pretty much the entire spectrum of the leadership, I guess. So I would be, I think we're at a very different place than we were. I think when Pakistan said that Pakistan does not want to choose any sides or have any favorites, I think as events unfold, I hope the role that Pakistan is able to play, the Pakistani government is able to play, will probably sort of prove that Pakistan has deep stakes in a stable Afghanistan, not a Taliban Afghanistan. We do not have stakes in the Taliban Afghanistan.
You were the first woman foreign minister of Pakistan. Can you imagine how long it's going to take now for a woman ever to become so senior a figure in Afghanistan?
Even though there is a military sort of strength that the Taliban have shown, I think they would also be well advised to come up with a system that represents all of Afghanistan, including especially the women of Afghanistan who have truly come a long way. I meet these remarkable women in all fields of life who were nowhere to be seen in 1996. So we're looking at a completely different Afghanistan. And I hope, at least from what we hear from the Taliban right now, that they seem to be aware of it, but we're all waiting for them to walk the talk.
But to be aware of it does not imply that they are even thinking of talking the talk.
I wouldn't say so. So I want them to walk the talk that they've done, right? And I think the talk has been rather good, okay? So when Mr. Shaheen tells us that women can be, go towards higher education, remain in jobs, that is obviously comforting from the Taliban that we knew of 1996, right? Now, to say that that is where it will stop is very discomforting. I don't think I sit at a place sitting in Islamabad or Lahore to tell our Afghan women that this is the limitation, this will be the glass ceiling. I think only the Afghans can decide. And two, I think we are all reasonably, justifiably concerned about their track record with women. Assurances aside, their actions on that particular front will really go a long way in creating the type of reaction the rest of the world, including Pakistan, has towards their whatever semblance of rule. And thirdly, which is also immediate, is whatever government they announce, if it is an unrepresentative government and only holds Taliban leaders and entities associated with the group, then obviously we are looking at the possibility of a continuation of civil war. And make no mistake, the Afghan women of today and the Afghan people of today, with access to technology and social media and from whatever they have experienced, is a very different group. And I feel from the talk, as I said, I wait for the walk, that they seem to be somewhat aware of that.
Will some of that walk then have to manifest itself in having women ministers within the government?
I would absolutely hope so and expect so. And if it doesn't, I think it will be a very, very bad, it will be a very, it will not engender the type of, or engender the type of confidence that you and I would hope they will be able to sort of reflect through their actions. I have gone through every word that has been spoken for my own interest by the spokesperson at any fora. And I feel it kind of indicates, and yes, they have said a categorical no, I think, to the prime minister or the president and to the head of, and that's a debate that we sometimes have in Pakistan also, not to the prime minister, but the president. Can the president be a woman? It's a debate that is ongoing in Pakistan also. But will they have women representation in the cabinet? If they don't, I think they will be failing not only the women of Afghanistan, but they will be failing any chance to have a representative government in Afghanistan.
Hina Ravani Khan, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.